Okay, real quick, we're going to put in this 3-phase motor, 10 horsepower. I figured I'd release one more video on it because this one has a double sheave and I thought it would be useful to know. So first off, what voltage is it? We got to go verify that, and then the amps where I have to tune this sheave for after we're done doing it. So let's go verify voltage. We're going to come over here, come down here. You see there's a disconnect down here in the unit. All right, we're going to put this in there, this in there. What do we got? Let's see. 212. This one up here, 210. Okay, and then we're going to check the last leg just for the heck of it. 211. Okay, so that means that we're going to wire this puppy for 230, right? On the 230 side, so we're looking for around 25 amps after we connect this sheave and hook it all up. So I'll show you the wiring for that. Okay, now remember, out of the two voltages, what voltage did we have? We had 230, we checked that. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over here, we're gonna look at the low voltage side, because that's the side we're dealing with. All right, so it says, you see that bar connecting each one? 6, 5, and 4, okay? Those are all connected together. You can see very clearly 0.6, 0.5, 0.4. There's a line drawn between them all. That means they're connected together. So right here, if we look at 4, you see it written on the wire. We come over here on this one, we'll see 5 written on the wire, and then this purple one, so this might be a little confusing, but this purple one actually looks like it says 9 on it. Okay, so I found that 2 of these, they both have 9s written on them, and there doesn't seem to be any difference between it. So hopefully that won't happen to you, but thank goodness I just did one of these motors the other day, and on that motor it was purple was 6, so I guess I'm making the assumption that purple is 6 here. That's why it's super important, if you have a motor in here, take a picture of the way that it's wired before you take it out. Very clearly have pictures of it logged on your phone, so in case this happens, okay, you can make an educated assumption on what you need to do for the motor. Now we're going to come over here. So now let's see how it says line/field line over there. So your line power, so these are your line power right here. Okay, so it is 9 and 3 connected to line power. So I'm going to come over here, 9 and 3, right? Both of them are connected together in that hole, right? And then line power is going to go over here. Now I'm using these wire nuts here. If you care to know it, it's a PBTS-24 wire range 4 to 14. So the reason why I'm using this is because these are 8 gauge wires, and my wire nuts they're not made for 8 gauge. They're not. In order to do this safely, you might want to go to an electrical supply house for like electricians and pick up a couple of these puppies, because I mean this is a $3,000 motor. You don't want something to short out or any issues, so I'd recommend using these. So next up is 8 and 2 to line power. So we're gonna go 8 and 2. Let's verify. 8 to 2. 8 to 2 down in there. Line power will go into there. And now 7 and 1. Let's see if we can find that 1. Yep, 1 right there. 7 and 1. See the line draw, 0.7, 0.1. They're connected all the way down to line power. So these also give us the ability to switch them easy, because we have to check our direction after we put this all together. So we're going to do that next. Okay, real quick, now we're going to test rotation on that puppy. So remember, $3,000 motor, super expensive, be super safe. So I took off the back of this contactor because the moment I turned on this unit, it's going to try to force it on. I don't want it running without any type of load on it. I was just testing it. So I'm going to take my insulated screwdriver, 1000 volts insulated, just gently tap it. Okay, well, do whatever you want. I'm not encouraging you to do anything. Okay, let's see. Look at that. Still see it? We'll do it one more time. Okay, we come over, we look. Spinning the wrong way. Okay, that's not right. Look, you see the arrow? Has to spin this way. Okay, so I'm going to need to switch over these legs of power. So I'm going to just switch over this leg with this leg over there. It doesn't matter what legs you switch, and it will reverse directions. Okay. So before I reverse the polarity on that, I just want to mention, so here's the sheave for it, right? So we got to make sure that both these sheaves are the same distance, so that doesn't, because then it would have unequal load on that shaft, which would cause unequal load on, it would cause an overdraw on the motor, as well as it's going to cause some tensioning and bending on the shaft and on that shaft as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark it just like that, right? And we're going to count the turns. So this right now is turned all the way in. You see that? All the way in as far as it goes. We're going to count the turns until that's about 1/8 of an inch down, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to put it on like so. And I have the key over there, so you have to slip that key right in that keyhole and in that slot, okay? But we're going to put this on, right? Because this other side can't be adjusted correctly until it's on all the way. So what we have to do is we got to put it on, right? You see that adjustment screw in there? Let's see if I can turn on the light. Adjustment screw in there, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a level, right? After this is adjusted properly, and we're going to make sure that the pulley pots right there, so that's right there and right there, are lined up good. So we don't want it skewed. We want it as in line as we can get it, right? So we're going to adjust this. So this is going to sit in it 3/8 of an inch in, and then we're going to secure that, move this back and forth until it's, as dead on as we can get it. And then after we secure it to the shaft, that we can screw that down, which will give us access to adjust this back side of the sheave. So this sheave is all the way in, and we're going to count like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And as you can see, I drew some marks, right? So we're going to count, 5 turns for about 1/2 inch, and then on the other side 5 turns for about 1/2 inch, okay? And yeah, that's what we're going to do. Actually, I got to make a quick correction. So you see this little thing right there? That has to be over this, so we should probably move it as tight as possible until this little adjustment screw is directly over there, and that'll be the start of the first turn. So real quick, I went 4 turns. As you can see, that's about 3/8 of an inch in. That looks good to me. What we're going to do is we're going to slap this bad boy in, and then we're going to go 3 turns on the other side. Also, I just want to show I reversed the polarity on the motor. So now we're just going to come over to here, test it again very gently. Like I said, don't do what I tell you to do. Whatever you want to do, we're going to come over, see that that's going the right way. Good to go. So now we're going to hook everything up. So you can see really quick that that's level. So from that surface to that surface, that's set, already good to go. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to screw in those setting screws on there, and it's as far as it can go up on the shaft. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to set those screws, and then we're going to have to set this last bit of the sheave. So also worth mentioning, you might want to take this sucker out, start those puppies, make sure they're not interfering inside the shaft, and then screw it back together, because they don't come very good. So you might want to screw it all the way down just so you're almost there, a little easier. Also worth noting, you can't push it too close, because you got to make sure that makes contact with that key in front that's put in there. So if you see that the key slot, if that's not going to make contact with that key, then you can't put it that far on the shaft, and you can't maybe get that perfectly leveled. But you got to do the best you can with that. So now we're going to tighten it on, and then adjust the sheave. Now that that's on, you can see I adjusted this all the way shut. Now I line those up, see that Sharpie? So now I'm going to turn this around, and the other one I did 4, so you can see. Now we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to line that up right there, and now we're going to lock that in place and put it back together. This might sound silly, but I figured I would show it anyway. So in order to put on the belts, you got to loop one over like that, let it hang there, hook this one on over here, right? Now you can hook this one up over there, and now you can then, you know, push on your belts the way that you normally do, where you twist it, goes on, and hook up this side, twist it, goes on, and there you go, you're good to go now. Okay, now that our sheath is set and everything, we're just gonna do our amp draw, make sure it's okay, our final little test. So 20 amps, that's all right. 22, there we go, that's not bad. And then, yep, 20, another 20 amps. So we could even go a little wider on those sheaths, and that would be okay. Oh, that says 24 now. So we're just gonna stick with it what it is, 22, 24. On the rating on the side of the unit, I think it was around 25. And you know, we could go a little bit more for sure, but I don't think it's worth ripping everything apart. So, you know, that's within like plus or minus, you know, so much. So I think that will be all right. So if you wanted to, you could shut it down, and you could open those sheaths probably half a turn, and it would probably do that. I think I'm just gonna, yeah, 21, 20. I think I'm just gonna stick with it, because as that system gets older and there's more rust that gets on it and everything, it's going to you know, it's going to wear down, and it's going to draw a higher amperage anyway. So I'm gonna leave it there, because I know it will grow into its amperage, and everything seems to be running well. All the airproofing switches are good. So yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you install a 10 horsepower motor and check your amperage. There you go.